There are moments when God prepares a leader long before the world recognizes them. Before Esther stood before a king, she was hidden, not powerful, not protected, not in control. She was an orphan girl in exile, carrying loss, uncertainty, and a story she never would have chosen. But heaven saw what people overlooked. God was shaping courage in the dark, building strength through pain, preparing a leader before anyone knew her name. That is how God often works. He prepares people privately before he uses them publicly. Then suddenly, the door opened. Esther was chosen to become queen, but what looked like favor was actually assignment. What looked like promotion was actually responsibility. Because God does not elevate leaders only for comfort. He positions them for purpose. And sometimes the seat you occupy is connected to someone else's breakthrough. Then the crisis came. Haman created a plan to destroy the Jewish people. Families were threatened, children were in danger, an entire generation stood on the edge of destruction. And Esther faced the truth every leader eventually faces. She had influence, but using it could cost her everything. To approach the king without being invited could mean death. This was real fear, real pressure, real risk. Because courage sounds inspiring until it becomes costly. Then Mordecai sent the message that changed history. Who knows whether you have attained royalty for such a time as this? For such a time as this, not someday, not when it feels safer, not when the fear disappears. Now, Esther had to decide. Would she protect her comfort or step into her calling? That is the question for every leader. What will you do with the influence God has entrusted to you? Will you stay silent because the cost is high? Or will you obey God because the moment matters? Esther called for prayer and fasting. Because wise leaders know some assignments cannot be carried in human strength alone. Then she spoke the words that revealed her surrender. If I perish, I perish. That was not recklessness. That was faith. That was courage surrendered completely to God. Then Esther walked into the palace. The room was silent. The guards were watching. The king sat on his throne. Every step could have been her last. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward while fear begs you to stop. And then it happened. The king extended the golden scepter. Mercy, favor, access. What could have ended in destruction became the doorway to deliverance. Haman's plan collapsed. The people were saved. What the enemy meant for destruction, God turned into testimony. That is the power of one surrendered leader. One voice, one decision, one courageous act of obedience. Never underestimate what God can do through a leader who is fully yielded to him. But Esther did not stand alone. Mordecai challenged her. The people fasted with her. Others carried the burden with her. Even strong leaders need trusted voices. Because isolation weakens leaders, pressure wears leaders down, silence can become dangerous. Too many leaders are carrying weight nobody sees. Smiling publicly, struggling privately, leading others while quietly feeling alone. But leaders were never meant to lead alone. That is why Kingdom Factor exists. Not just networking, not another meeting, not surface-level encouragement. Kingdom Factor creates confidential circles where Christian leaders can speak honestly, pray openly, grow spiritually, and walk through the weight of leadership together. Because leadership is heavy, and isolation is dangerous. Maybe this is your for such a time as this moment. Maybe God is calling you into deeper courage, deeper faith, deeper community. You were never meant to carry the assignment alone. Kingdom Factor, Christian leaders, confidential community, purposeful accountability, kingdom impact.